Hello and welcome to the 10th Ljubljana Talks. Gorazd Čad, the editor-in-chief of Congress Magazine.
Hi everybody.
And myself, Jan Oršič from the Ljubljana Tourism, Ljubljana Convention Bureau. We are here again with you, and we are really excited that, we made it to 10 Ljubljana Talks. So today we want to talk about the year 2022, a year that should bring a lot of new stuff, and hopefully we will see a real restart of our industry.
Yeah, we celebrate, as Jan said, it's 10th edition of our Ljubljana Talks, and the show must go on. We have quite a lot of ideas for this year, and definitely we will share with you some of our thoughts, really how we see the year in front of us, and what is, in our opinion, actually, what are the trends we need to follow. And definitely we are still, after everything, optimistic that the year will be good at the end.
I mean, Gorazd, did you notice how the end of the year was very turbulent, and we got the Omicron variant, and now I believe we are seeing a kind of a optimistic sunshine on the horizon. We have experienced another flow of movements and postponements and cancellations within the industry of various types of events, of course live events, but at the same time we have seen a stabilization of those events which are actually coming after March. So I think there's three events that we have to mention. I would start with ITB, which was first to say that they are completely cancelling the event for this year, which was, of course...
That's one way how to do it, yeah.
And they cancelled, and I think that is why Fitur last week was really benefiting from that, because it was very full, I hear, and congratulations to Fitur for a successful event taking place live in Madrid. The second event, of course, was IMEX.
Yes.
IMEX postponed
to the end of May, actually, to June, almost to summer months. So this is quite interesting story, actually.
Yeah, again, following the trend of organizing live events in warmer months here on the European part of the globe. And the third event, of course, Conventa.
Yes, we moved Conventa to summer months. It's in our opinion, responsible decision. Actually, we have participants, hosted by us at Conventa from almost 40 countries, and when we actually analyze how we will bring those people back to their home countries, it's really complicated. There are quite a lot of restrictions, quarantine rules and so on, and we decided that this is really not a good time for organizing such a big event, and then that's why we decided to move Conventa to August. The reaction of everybody around us was so actually positive. Of course, Ljubljana is the most beautiful city during the summer months, and everybody loves it. And now we are in August, and who knows, maybe we will stay in August in the future. Who knows?
This is something that perhaps somebody should write in the comments down of this, recording, if you think it should be in August. But it was a really big event. I mean, this would be now the 13th, right? 14th yes. Conventa. Yeah. So we are looking at certain new facts about Conventa, because never before, would you 3 years ago say Conventa will take place in August?
No, never. The basic idea was, that was in cooperation with you and all the partners, that it's the first event of the year, actually. That was our headline, and we started like that, and it was always in January, in a really low season. And we take this as granted, that was the fact. And now the situation is, of course, different. We prepare a calendar of important and big international events already at the end of November. We changed it several times. Yeah. Now we have version 5.0 already. and still we are receiving info that some of the events are postponed and so on. So this is a fluid situation nowadays, and it's difficult to say. But today I just learned that the event, Europe Congress event, will take place in Budapest at the end of February, because there are no restrictions in Budapest or in Hungary in general regarding the events. I just learned that from one of my colleagues. So basically it's really so fluid in a way that how countries can actually manage this crisis. And yeah, it depends where you are. Yeah, that's why in Portugal they did it. Né? So
I think the craziest is was it Puerto Rico? No, Dominican Republic.
Yeah,
you know, I think they made a really interesting move throughout the last couple of years. They just said everybody's open. Mm-hmm. And they installed all these measurements, and I think they're really going to be benefiting from this, and they were benefiting from this, because here in Europe we still don't have one collective agreement on how things should be done and who is traveling and where and when and under which rules. But tell me, is it going to be Budapest for you, the first event of this year you're attending?
Yeah, definitely. But coming back to the decision we did, you know, it's really a huge responsibility. Health is really number one thing we need to take care about. And then, of course, also financial risks in connection with what we promised to our actually partners. We promise every year 80% of new buyers, so we need to deliver this. And it was simply not, we were not in a situation to do this like we promised. So that was the reason why we are moving to August. And I can talk about this for hours because it was really tough. It was a tough decision, but I think we have some other topics to cover too.
Yeah,
but
of course.
This is the real life of meeting planners, you know. This is what is going on behind the scenes. Né? So
and we had meetings on this topic, and I think the decision to put Conventa into August is the really good one, because right now it would be almost impossible to organize it. I mean, we've seen site move into April. We've seen, you know, quite a lot of movements from events that were taking place in this time of year going to later on. You know, the Association Congress, for example, they already moved. They were typically in February, now moving into July. And I think in general, this trend is really becoming more and more evident. I think there's a couple of events which we can also mention here. The first is that here in Ljubljana, we are looking at, you know, how the big congresses and conferences are going to be taking place. And we are so excited that we have a couple of really big ones, starting from end of March with, you know, kind of a picking up. And then one of the highlights this year, Velocity, is going to be taking place, the largest cycling conference in Ljubljana. This is all
this is your
things.
Child, huh?
Well,
right?
yeah, it's the municipality is very much involved. The main thing is it is a conference that brings together a group of people that want to meet in person. And I think that's so beautiful. I think that's very exciting. It's also very challenging, you know, again, back to health and safety. How do you do this? The event has this huge you know, parade where all the bicycles go on the road and they do a tour around the city. And this is something that is very exciting, but we have to make it safe. We have to organize it the proper way. It's exciting to see that the conference is generating satellite events. This is something that is also very exciting to see. We already know of 2 satellite events that are taking prior to the conference. So already, you know, it's going to be interesting to measure the difference of how events were organized, how the attendees were behaving with before COVID and now. So finally, we are at the stage that we are going to be seeing live events again.
Yeah, but Jan, we can really do it in a safe way. We can create safe environment. We proved this, all of us, I mean, several times. And I really don't know for a case that something happened during the events we organized. Really, I mean, we have tools and everything to do it in a proper way. It's actually a huge effort. It's not so easy as it looks like, but it's definitely manageable. It's not something which we cannot do. I always say that we can create a safer environment than in shopping centers. This is my proverb,
so.
You know.
I would say so. I mean, after all, in Ljubljana, we don't know of a case of COVID transmission within a hotel.
But you know what is the whole point? Actually, I
And
wrote,
that was the
wrote it.
paranoia, closing
Yeah,
down the
yeah,
hotels and all. We can do it. We have the tools. I think we have them. Yeah.
But I wrote several times that we are the ones who will have to adapt to the virus and not the other way around. That was that's the statement I wrote several times, and this is what I really believe in, you know. And after 2 years, almost 2 years of COVID situation, yeah, maybe we should learn something.
Yeah, I agree. I think the time is here. I mean, I'm extremely proud that at Ljubljana Tourism we made, for instance, one of these adaptations. My colleagues who are running the guides and the guide services, we've made a decision, and they've made a decision that you cannot book a guide for more than 25 people. That means for the full bus, you know, the 54-seater, you would need 2 guides. And why is this important? Let me give you an example. We know what the years before COVID were, right? And we were measuring the opinions of our citizens, and we would see what the sentiment was. And it was actually quite good. But we could notice that there is something with the size of the groups that people notice. Because when you have 50 people and you put them in the middle of any street in Ljubljana, you block the street. And then when you put that in half and you put 20 people somewhere on a street, most people don't even notice them anymore. It's a fascinating thing how with these little things we can start making changes so that the tourism and the cities are actually becoming more connected and more in a way. I'm looking for a word now. It's a symbiosis. We have to find this symbiosis that the locals, who, you know, we've seen so many people saying, "Oh, it's amazing to see the destination a little bit, you know, empty in a way. It's we got it back in a way." You know, people tend to think of the city as their own, and that's justifiably so. And we want them to feel this connection even in the further. But of course, we want our guests to come in and feel as welcome as possible. We're really trying through this also to avoid the, you know, tourists go home signs or whatever. We don't want to see that. I mean, we didn't see it yet. We didn't have real over-tourism so far. But of course, we saw it in other destinations, being members of the, you know, different organizations within Europe. We have seen a lot of examples of how things can go wrong. And we gotta play it right. And I think this is an example of how we need to find the right tools also in our industry.
Yeah. Just to let you know, guys, we will bring colleagues and friends with us in the next month. So every last week of the last Wednesday of the month, we will bring somebody into the studio. And today we are alone, just to give you some ideas and to talk about the trends too. You know, so maybe Jan, we should start with that, and we will of course announce all our guests soon. But Jan, what is your #1 trend for this year? What can you say? What do you see as a main trend?
Well, I've been following quite a few analyses that were announced in the last couple of weeks. For me, one of the most relevant is what Forward Keys was putting forward, and they see a lot of interest. I think that the measurement was 96% of interest for travel for the upcoming months. And one thing that especially resounded with their analysis that was actually published about a week ago and also promoted through the ECM webinar, they see this pent-up request, basically, the desire to travel. And I think this is very important because if we are able to get it going, I think we can have a lot of beneficial effects of tourism and simply bringing people back to travel. I think this is going to be quite a challenge because right now, if you think about it, of what a lot of the core business was in the past, In Europe, we would see a lot of Asian groups. You know, China is still completely closed for us. They cannot arrive. A lot of people that perhaps went on a bus tour before and the bus was full. A lot of people perhaps will say, we don't want to be on a full bus. I don't want to travel with 50 people. Let's make this manageable. Again, coming back to the 25 people per group, if you have 25 people per one guide, the quality of the experience is so much better. And I think we as consumers, we need to start demanding certain quality. And that comes down also to the venues, to the locations, to the hotels, to the destinations. And, you know,
I will give you one example, just to comment this. We are just publishing now this week all the results of Hidden Guest and Meeting Star competition. It will finish with big, actually, award night in February. But at this particular moment, I can already confirm that the most successful category was boutique hotels. When we started with boutique hotels, everybody said to me, yeah, this is not important 10 years ago or 15 years ago for the meetings industry. These hotels are too small. Yeah. And then, of course, they forget that there are incentives. They are looking for such properties always, I mean, but at this particular moment, they are really fully booked and really successful on the market. That's amazing. Yeah. And the big hotels have a huge problem on the market. If I compare with a little bit. So basically, also the final mark, the final satisfaction of Hidden Guests with the boutique hotels is higher than with other categories. So this is a trend, one of the trends which is hidden a little bit behind. So, but really, some of the hotels are really non-stop fully booked, even during the crisis, because you can really create a safe environment in such a small, family-run, usually family-run environment.
That's an interesting trend. I think what we've seen in the past year or 2 years is a lot of people were traveling by car. A lot of people were traveling with different, you know, types of vehicles, trying to be more independent, trying to be more isolated. I think this is the word. So quite a few trends are coming out of this. One of the trends that I think is going to be picking up, especially now as we are coming back to travel, is when you go to a destination, that you really enjoy the destination. I think the trend is going to be less of this in and out concept. So when you do have a live event, you actually optimize it. You take everything out of it. You try and optimize it. I think this is also the story with incentives.
Talking about optimizing, you know, I believe that the situation, what will the future bring, hybrid, the future will be hybrid, live, whatever, it's also over, you know. Basically, yesterday I was in on a Zoom meeting with Kim Meyer and Ivo Frančiš, because we are preparing something which will be really a great project for everybody involved in the meetings industry, and we realized that this is really a stupid dilemma, actually. There is no dilemma anymore. We have live sector, we have hybrid sector, we have a virtual sector, or metaverse sector of the meetings industry, and of course we have digital sector. And it depends what clients needs, you know, and that's how we actually create experiences. Yeah. And it's so simple. And definitely because of that, the industry will be stronger after the crisis. This is what I believe. And now it depends what you like actually as a professional. If you want to organize live events, then of course you will specialize on that. But if the clients demands everything, and you can see this new situation when you are looking the organigram of certain companies, of the big experience marketing agencies. You already have department for live, for virtual or metaverse, and for digital, and this is what is going on behind the scenes. So basically, this dilemma from last year, hybrid, the future is hybrid, or the future is I don't know what. It's, I believe, over, and I believe in stronger industry after all, and we will see a lot of new kids on the block at the trade shows and so on. I expect already at IMEX we will see some new big stands from techno companies you would never expect to see there, you know. So
I mean, it's a very, very challenging situation and a very interesting concept. I mean, After all, if you think about it, if you know how to implement the virtual elements and the hybrid elements and gamification and driving up the content before a conference through virtual events, through hybrid events, I mean, especially virtual, I would say, you know, Meta, you mentioned Meta, this is something that is really, really coming up.
Definitely.
And it's going to be interesting how the companies will use it, how individuals will use it. I'm not saying it's going to happen, you know, from now to tomorrow, but if you think about it, exactly what you're saying, if you combine it and you use elements of this, let's say to drive up the integration, to create already some groups of people that then when the event is live, you bring them together, that could be amazing. And we need to take this as the industry. We need to absorb it. We need to think about it.
Definitely. But still, a lot of investments we can follow every day into the digital platforms and so on. I'm talking about huge investments, some mergers, you know, and definitely this is booming. For example, if one startup with digital platform receives 15 million euros, you know, that's not a small amount of money, you know.
They're not giving it up.
No, definitely. So basically, it says a lot. So this is, in my opinion, what we will definitely realize in this year. So these segments will come together in place, and as a meeting planner, you need to somehow decide where is your place, where is your playground, and you can play everywhere if you want to, but basically, you know, you need to specialize then. So that brings a lot of stuff and knowledge into the company. So
you always say power to the meetings, but
always.
Now we're talking about bring electrical power to the meetings.
Yeah, I mean, who cares?
Plugging them in.
Who cares? Who cares?
It's definitely a situation where it's going to be fun, and I think that also our plan to developing this platform here kind of shows it. I mean, today we are too also because of the pandemic situation and everything, but our plan is, yes, to keep it going. We're going to expand our portfolio of platforms that we want to be using. So if you have any preferred platforms, you know, let us know. I think it would be also interesting to see how, you know, the feedback will change once we start really integrating this sort of platform into live events, because this is the idea. You know, we wanted to do a thing on Conventa, and we will. We want to do the possibility of talking to people around the world on this platform, so doing it in a hybrid way as well. So we're playing a little bit, but I hope, you know, that we actually make a few interesting you know, challenges on the way, and always. Push some boundaries. And a big push, of course, was when ICA recognized it. Now I gotta ask you one more question.
Come on, go on.
So we are now bringing together Conventa and Conventa crossover again. What can you say about the crossover, Conventa crossover? How it will be different than last year?
It's always different. Every year we have different topics to cover. But for example, today I received a nice mail from German Convention Bureau. They would like to be really involved in the platform, because they believe that what we are doing, they are really high-tech oriented, and they are really, I don't know what to say. I mean, high-tech, to simplify.
Extremely, yes.
And they would like to join us. So it says a lot, you know, and we will have a stream which will be really more towards that direction. But of course, we will not forget about the basic idea, you know, crossover between different fields, between, I don't know, science, between art, and what we are doing. And all this is actually experience marketing. And this is the second topic we would like to cover more deeply this year. And so on one side, technology, and on the other side, experience marketing in connection with that. Because I don't want to talk anymore about meetings industry. This is my personal idea. It's really experience marketing, what we are doing actually. Or live marketing was before, but now in general, experience marketing comes in place. So we need to put this whole concept and idea finally together, so that people will understand and have clear idea what is experience marketing and what technology can do for that and what science can do. And what art can do in connection with that. So this is really, and creativity, of course. I never forget about creativity because I believe that this is the it's not electricity, but it's creativity what really runs our industry. So now this is what we would like to do, and of course soon in I believe 14 days or maybe 3 weeks we will create a headline and give you more info about that. This is just a basic idea.
I was just trying to provoke you here because I have no idea what's coming up this year, but last year was a really good event. So it's interesting that the Germans are coming along because they're really
I was super surprised. That's a brand new story from this morning, actually.
Wow,
I was super surprised.
Really.
And, we'll definitely include them into the program. So, this is my answer to them, to this channel.
It's gonna be, my answer is in the video.
Yeah. I mean, that kind of stuff, finally, it's 6th year, actually 7 years of crossover. And this is a magical number, probably. And
for the unicorns.
For the unicorns, yes. And the ideas are coming back to us. It's vice versa as it was at the beginning. So people are approaching us on every single day, with ideas, and this is crazy. This is amazing, And what we do not want to cover is those old school things, This is what I discussed yesterday with my colleagues. Really, venue finding and logistics, this is not really something we would like to cover. It's there. This is like the basics about the automotive,
Yeah.
We should not talk anymore about the I don't know, the wheel. Actually, the wheel is there, So basically,
but it's not just that. If you think about it, we got the logistics covered. We know how to make events, how to bring people in. We know where the limitations are. Again, I think, what we were saying before, these are the adaptations. I mean, if you see, I think it was last quarter was the first quarter in history of measurement that the more electric vehicles were sold than diesel vehicles. I mean, there's a revolution in that, and it comes with the content, it comes with the story, it comes with the marketing. If you think Tesla...
Sorry to interrupt. You know what is the new logistics? Engagement. To simplify completely the story. The new logistics is engagement, how we will engage people. If you understand this point, then it's easy.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah,
if you
this
think
is
about
the story.
If you think about it, we are going from that concept of this is the room, these are the seats.
Exactly.
Do the event. And people went and they talked and everybody saw the PowerPoints and the slides and the Excel sheets and everything. Nobody cared what the attendees were doing. But now it's exactly this. If you are not bringing in the content and the quality of engagement, you have the problem. And, if you think about it, there's a lot of these new concepts coming in, also through our industry. I think some associations being, of course, drivers of innovation, some a little bit more following behind. I think there's quite a few big shifts coming along.
Absolutely.
Because of this. Because if you don't get, at the end of the day, you have to have the right... This is my investment, this is the ROI, this is how active I am, this is...
Plus a little bit of drama, always a little bit of drama. I was really, this weekend, I'm a big fan of rally, and of course Lep is the winner of Monte Carlo Rally, the Monte Carlo Rally against Ogier, and he's the old guy, the team behind the scenes brought this old rally legend to the story, and he wins the first race. That's so amazing, why I'm saying this. This is also where we can, again, learn a lot of things, we need to look around us. Sport is really a great, actually, school for all meeting planners, but not to mention theater and so
technology.
On.
What would be interesting?
Yeah.
The first guy who brings in an electric car to that race.
Yeah, it's hybrid this year for the first time, you know. So
It's coming. It's coming.
definitely coming. Yeah.
Do you think Tesla will win?
No, never. I mean, I'm joking. This is a personal, you know.
This is like Tesla. It's a challenge, you know.
But for
They take this sort of challenges really.
yeah. But now it's faster. Actually, it's really, I mean, crazy. It reminds me on those era with those super powerful car, and they need to limit it the power, you know, in 70s, 80s. Yeah.
And again, we come to limitations. We're coming to, you know, putting this into the context of how to make tourism and the meetings industry in symbiosis with the destinations, so that the locals say welcome to every guest, that they feel that this is how it should be, and that, you know, just educating the local population about the importance of the events, the importance of how in the long term we are creating something of an added value. And I mean, I think we've done a huge shift just by thinking of what actually we consider as key events in a destination. We even us as convention bureau at Ljubljana Tourism, we are looking at association meetings, we're looking at corporates, we're looking at sporting events all of a sudden. Some will say this is not a part of your job, or this is not a part of the mix, but it is there. And you know, it is an incredibly powerful thing to realize that if crisis comes again, it's the sporting events that actually will take place. Even without the viewers, you have the core of the, you know, the competitors there. So I think this is going to be interesting. Also now the Olympics are coming in China. I know that you know, we're going to have a lot of moments looking at who's going to be competing. And it's going to be interesting to see how they adapt security-wise, you know, media-wise and all this to the new situation. I mean, they are the most conservative country when it comes to events.
Yeah, it will be really interesting from different angles. Okay, Jan, our time is running.
Our half an hour is over.
Is over, yes. So
the guys are going.
Happy, healthy, and smart New Year 2022.
Yes.
Thanks again for watching us. And once again, see you every last Wednesday of the month. You know,
follow and, you know, subscribe, and we'll promise to every comment that you type in, we will answer, and we really look forward to any ideas about any content that you want to bring to us. So, see you.
See you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.